Hey guys, let's get more news about Lakers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Lakers trade pitch flips LeBron James to East rival for four-time All-Star. The Los Angeles Lakers flipped the future on its head Saturday night by making Anthony Davis the centerpiece of a trade with the Dallas Mavericks for megastar Luka Doncic. First in the line of the natural questions to follow is, what is to become of LeBron James? The 40-year-old forward is under contract through 2026 to 27, but the final season of that deal is a player option. That means James can say goodbye to LA of his own accord this summer and the Lakers will get nothing in return. Those circumstances might argue for a trade in the next 4 days before the February 6 deadline passes, except for the fact that James is one of two players, Bradley Beal of the Phoenix Suns, with a no-trade clause in his current contract. That means Los Angeles can't send him anywhere he doesn't want to go. The Lakers' trade for Doncic was far less a move for right now than it was a play for the next decade. As such, James was perhaps for the first time not at the top of mind for the front office when it made the transaction. In fact, Dave McMenamin of ESPN reported that James was unaware the Davis-Doncic trade was in the works until it was official. And while a Doncic-James duo is terrifying at first thought, both men are ball-dominant and offense-first superstars who may not mesh easily early on. Beyond that, the Lakers haven't built a roster around the two that necessarily maximizes what they can accomplish together. For those reasons, and others, both the Lakers and James might be better off if they make a trade. The relevant question is what kind of deal is feasible and might be accepted by both sides. Colin Keane of the Sporting News took a crack at answering that question by authoring a trade pitch on Sunday that would see the Lakers send James to the Boston Celtics in return for four-time All-Star and reigning NBA Finals MVP Jaylen Brown. James and Doncic aren't a great fit from a basketball standpoint, Keane wrote. If the Lakers were serious about trading James, they'd want to get a prime-aged player in return, preferably a wing or big, who fits better with Doncic's timeline. Enter the Celtics, who are eyeing a repeat but haven't looked amazing yet this season. Part of Boston's slight regression in 2024-25 has been the play of Jaylen Brown who, despite being named an All-Star reserve, hasn't looked as good as he did last season. One can make the argument that James remains just as good at 40 years old as Brown is at 28. However, a straight-up swap would favor the Lakers given the fact that Brown is in his prime and James may have just 2 or 3 years left before retirement. That means the Lakers' second tradable first-round pick, 2031, that they didn't give up in the Doncic deal would probably have to come into play. Even still, that package might not make sense for Boston. Warriors should be livid about one major aspect of the Luka Doncic Lakers trade. Out of absolutely nowhere, the NBA was sent into meltdown on Saturday night, with the Dallas Mavericks stunningly trading superstar Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers in a package revolving around another huge name in Anthony Davis. Everyone was blindsided, including Doncic, Davis, and LeBron James, who so often has significant say in trades his team makes. The most frustrating aspect for rival fans, and most certainly Mavericks fans, is that Dallas seemingly didn't even open up a bidding war for arguably a top 3 player in the league. Most fans and analysts believe that the Mavericks got significant unders for the MVP candidate, with Noah Weber of the Smoking Cuban going as far as to suggest that this is undoubtedly the worst trade in NBA history. One of the most shocking parts of the entire scenario is that ESPN's Shams Charania, who most people believed had been hacked when he announced the trade, further reported that it was the Mavericks who actually approached the Lakers offering Doncic. If Dallas had openly floated Doncic's name among the league, can you just imagine what sort of offers they would have received from perhaps every team around the NBA? The fact this didn't materialize is particularly frustrating for the Golden State Warriors, who are perhaps the team most pressing for another legitimate star to pair with Stephen Curry. While all the talk has been about former All-Stars Zach LaVine and Jimmy Butler in recent days, the Warriors could have instead completely rewritten the trajectory of the entire franchise by acquiring Doncic. Now, Golden State don't have a player anywhere near the caliber of Anthony Davis, aside from Curry, meaning they wouldn't have been able to match the offer from a win-now standpoint. They do have a plethora of young players and future draft assets in comparison to the Lakers though, which the Mavericks may have then been able to on-trade for another star player. The fact they, or any other team, didn't even get the opportunity is incredibly annoying, and is only made worse by the Lakers getting their hands on a franchise cornerstone that is sure to make them relevant for at least the next decade. Throughout the history of the league, the Lakers have always had an enviable ability to attract superstar players, and this time around the Mavericks just handed them one on a silver platter without inviting anyone else to the dinner table. Lakers predicted to deal LeBron James to bitter West rival after Doncic trade. The Los Angeles Lakers may be planning a complete overhaul of the roster, and flipping Anthony Davis for former Dallas Mavericks star Luka Doncic on Saturday night could have been merely the first step. Bill Simmons of The Ringer sent that message during an emergency podcast on Sunday, February 2, citing a source who believes that the Lakers will send LeBron James to the Golden State Warriors after making one of the most jaw-dropping deals of all time over the weekend. "I had somebody that knows things say, the Lakers do this, they don't give LeBron a heads up, and then the next move is LeBron to Golden State," Simmons said. "And they're just basically out of the LeBron and AD business." James did not find out about the news of the Davis-Doncic deal until the teams made it official on Saturday night following a Lakers blowout win over the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. James has a no-trade clause in his contract, so he doesn't have to go anywhere he doesn't want. That said, rumors about James to the Warriors were prevalent ahead of last year's trade deadline, and the Lakers star has spoken publicly in the past about an interest in teaming up with star point guard Stephen Curry. The two played together to tremendous success over the summer, winning Olympic gold in Paris as members and co-leaders of Team USA. The trade deadline this season is February 6, which gives Los Angeles just 4 days to find a deal that makes sense for the future of its franchise and to which James might actually agree, assuming the Lakers actually want to deal him. That James also has a player option on the final year of his contract in 2026 to 27 affords him even more leverage, as he can leave LA of his own accord this summer and the Lakers would get nothing in return. That stipulation also means any potential trade partner for James will need to know he's interested in remaining with the franchise for at least next year, and potentially beyond depending how long the 40-year-old plans to keep playing in the NBA. A third wrinkle in the circumstances surrounding James and the Lakers is the 4-year, $8 million contract that second-round pick Bronny James, his eldest son, signed with the Lakers ahead of this season. Golden State is currently 24-24, tied with the Sacramento Kings for the 10th best record in the Western Conference. However, the Kings own the tiebreaker, meaning the Warriors wouldn't even be in the play-in tournament if the postseason began today. The Dubs need to make a deal ahead of the trade deadline if they hope to contend this year, though both Curry and the front office have said publicly that the team doesn't want to make a trade that only makes them incrementally better. Whether the Dubs consider a trade for James, an all-star starter this year, as a path toward legitimate contention remains to be seen, though the Warriors and Lakers will need to turn over their whole cards in the next few days. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of LeBron James? Leave your opinion in the comments.